Salt Lake loses, they can't blame anybody. If San Jose loses, they can't blame anybody. So I mean, it's all dependent on if the teams can do their job and whatnot. I mean, that's my take on it.
No, I agree.
I think with the Orlando thing, there were fans grasping at straws. They have a lot of investment, that brand new stadium, a great atmosphere, but they've never been in the playoffs. They've watched New York City similarly flounder that first season and then go on to challenge for the Supporters' Shield last year to finish a very distant second, it looks like, to Toronto. The fact remains you could give them those 2 points and they'd still be 6 points out with 3 points left to play for.
Yeah.
Certainly in the West, it's more complicated. The situation wouldn't be greatly different because after everything that's happened tonight, FC Dallas would still have to win and still have to hope that San Jose don't win.
No, yeah. Dan, we appreciate you joining, especially giving us the insight on what happened between Oscar Pereira and the referee and the debacle, the controversy MLS had to deal with. Where can we find you on Twitter? Give us your information. That way the viewers can find your content.
Absolutely. There's no better plug than a shameless plug. I'm at Crooke86. That's Crooke with an E on the end. And if you like controversial hot takes on soccer and all it implies by someone who has absolutely no idea what they're talking about, Arman's Twitter's there too.
There you go.
Oh wow,
there you go.
Thanks.
Well, we appreciate it, and if FC Dallas sneaks in, maybe we'll give you a ring.
Always. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Dan.
Great insight into the referee legal substitution.
Weird.
It's really weird, but I mean, you need to understand every detail. I think Dan gets to it. And it's important to understand every detail because that's why you have such a controversy like this. Is because the details are the difference in why FC Dallas did what they did and what the referee said to them. But moving on to MLS playoffs, because boy is it heating up, and we've got 1 week left.
The ultimate decision day is coming up. I'm excited.
Decision day is going to decide one playoff spot. Everybody else is confirmed. Yeah. Supporters' Shield champ, no surprise, Toronto. They could break into 70 points if they get a win next weekend.
Impressive. That'd be very impressive.
Very impressive. Go on.
Oh, I was excited to see them hopefully break it.
They're averaging 2 points per game, a whole 0.3 higher than second place NYCFC, and a whole 0.4 higher than Vancouver, who is the current number 1 seed here in the West. For the Eastern Conference, you have NYCFC, Chicago Fire, Atlanta United, Columbus Crew, and the Red Bulls complete out. Kaká in Orlando City, no more. That partnership is done, but they're obviously out, along with DC United, the Union, the Impact, and the Revolution. Any surprises from the East now that we're looking at the final playoff chart?
Honestly, I was kind of spoiled by the way Montreal with Ignacio Piatti. They're a really talented team, and I think
Jamali,
and I think they struggled, and they just couldn't rack up the wins. I mean, I thought they had something when they beat Toronto. I think 5-3, was it?
Yeah, the momentum was going for it. I thought they could be that Seattle-esque, but it just never picked up.
Never culminated. Never culminated. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, Steven, we're looking at there's only 2 spots confirmed in the East, and that's 1 and 6. 2 through 5 are looking like it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, one of the games next week is actually going to be NYCFC versus Columbus. And that game is a game that's going to be at Citi Field. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
I saw
another. Go ahead.
I saw a tweet. Don't remember who it's from, but NYCFC is that college friend that just couch surfs.
Yeah, couch surfing, exactly. And the East is packed with huge games all around. I'm talking Atlanta, Toronto FC, NYCFC, Columbus. that NYCFC Columbus game is probably going to be televised. To be plain and simple with you, and then you have
not Atlanta's record.
No, I don't think so. You'll have Houston and Chicago playing too. That'll be interesting to see. So I mean, you have a lot of storylines, and I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see, man. I mean, I'm really excited to see how the East is gonna shake because those home games are really important.
They are, and I mean, if you look at the home records, Toronto's by far the highest, but Columbus Crew has a better home record than NYCFC. So, and then the funny thing is, you look at the road record, and every club is just trash.
God awful.
It's awful, except for Toronto, who has actually a winning record on the road. But I wanted to let the listeners know next week we'll do a playoff preview, so we're not going to get too far in depth. But that's the Eastern Conference. We know the 6, 2 through 5. There's gonna be changes. Who knows? It'd be awesome to see Atlanta host a playoff game in that crazy atmosphere and see what they can do. Meanwhile, in the West, 1 through 5 were figured out as far as playoff qualification, not necessarily seeding again. Vancouver right now has the number 1 seed. Then you got Portland, Seattle, Sporting KC, and Houston. Good to see Houston back in the playoffs. Sporting KC.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a very dangerous team at home.
Oh, they're very good at home. Very good defensively as well.
Yes, but their away record, God, is it terrible. Same with Houston. Houston 1 win on the road. Kansas City 2. And then it's not, and it doesn't get any better. Seattle only has 3. Right, so Dallas only has 3. San Jose only has 3. So. Excuse me. Whoever gets the higher seed and hosts the first playoff game, and they're at home, it's a huge advantage, especially these clubs who are just terrible on the road.
And I mean, I hate to be that guy, but I mean, looking at these, I think in at least the Western Conference, the top 4 seeds should. I mean, whatever happens, top 4 seeds should move on. I mean, just compared to. Their home and away. I mean, these home games are really important. So, I mean, I think whoever gets the home is going to end up winning in those knockout games. I mean, we saw it last year. I think almost every team except Montreal was the home team that won. So, I mean, there's that. I mean, there's a 6 seed that needs to be determined still.
Yeah, and I mean, Vancouver to Sporting KC, 1 through 4, separated by 3 points. So,
yeah.
What's the difference between Sporting KC? I wouldn't be surprised if are the representatives out of the Western Conference, or if it's the reigning champs Seattle, or if it's newcomers Vancouver. Vancouver is definitely the club that I didn't expect to be this good.
I don't think anyone did, to be honest with you.
It's weird. And then Dallas, we talked about Dallas in the previous segment. Outside looking in, along with RSL.
And San Jose is in. And they're tied with Minnesota for a second worst goal differential in the league, and they are currently in the playoffs. That's unbelievable. That is
Welcome
that's unbelievable.
To MLS.
They turned it around under their general manager turned coach. Just looking at it, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to move on. I mean, San Jose is playing Minnesota while Dallas is playing LA, and I was talking to people before the show. I do think LA is a quality side, even if they're even if their record says they're god awful. I think they can beat FC Dallas or at least give them a scare. I don't know. Will Minnesota want to play spoiler against San Jose on the road? I sure think they will. And then looking at Salt Lake, they're playing Sporting Kansas City. That's a really just terrible matchup for Salt Lake. You have a Sporting KC side that's hungry. They want that seeding. They want that home playoff berth. And if Houston wins, and they lose, they won't have that spot. So you're gonna see definitely. I think it's gonna be a great decision day, Steven. I think it really is.
Yeah, no, it's
there's gonna be some games that are relevant. Montreal, New England, Philadelphia, Orlando, DC United, Red Bulls. But I mean, outside of that, every game has meaning. It has a meaning, and we'll see what happens in the knockout for the playoff preview and the knockout stages. I mean, Steven, who are you surprised by outside of Vancouver?
Chicago, maybe Atlanta. Let's be honest, new club, maybe get the 6th seed. I didn't expect them to be a 4 seed, even a potential 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, the disaster of FC Dallas is quite frankly kind of shocking. As much as I like to mock the club, I expected them to at least be 4 or higher. What about yourself? Wrap it up here.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up real quick. I'm relatively surprised at the outside, like I said, outside of Vancouver. I'm surprised because Columbus came out, I would say, have not been talked about throughout the league. And Berhalter, they were terrible last year, and Berhalter has turned them around. They went from MLS Cup finalists to complete terrible to now in the playoffs and potentially a 2 seed. And I think it's fantastic to see. But listeners, you can always follow us on Twitter at UncSamSoccerPod. You can follow me on Twitter at Arman Kafai. That is ArmanKafai. I hope you enjoyed this show. And Steven, I know we can find you on Twitter too at Steven Jodderand. Really easy to say. And guys, again, I hope you enjoyed the show. We really appreciate the support we got for our last episode and support we're getting on our episodes overall. From the bottom of our hearts, it does mean a lot that we are getting support, and we just love talking about American soccer. We love talking about what's going on. We hate to see it happening, but we love that we have a platform to talk and discuss with our viewers on a weekly basis.
I agree, Armand, 100%. Our love to you, listeners, knows no bounds. Next week, MLS playoffs. That's all it's going to be. No U.S. soccer. We'll have to wait till after the playoffs to continue that discussion. See you then.
Bye.